Welcome to Life Transformation Radio. This show is all about life transformations and our journey from where we were to why we are doing what we are doing today. We will discuss the hiccups, the roller coasters, and the blood, sweat, and tears that has been poured out while discovering our purpose. It is all about our transformations. Here is your host, Sean Douglas.
Welcome to another episode of Life Transformation Radio. I'm your host, Master Resilience Implementer, TEDx speaker, business positioning strategist, and author, Sean Douglas. This show is currently heard in over 74 countries. So whether it's your first time joining us or you've been listening to us for some time, I want to thank you to those who are listening from around the world. Life Transformation Radio is all about our transformation. Here, we tell the stories of why we're doing what we're doing. We highlight that transformational moment that changed our lives. We use it to then transform others and elevate their lives as well. You can listen to us live right here on the Blog Talk Radio Network, Tuesday through Friday at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Join our Facebook group, Life Transformation Radio Community, and never miss an episode by subscribing wherever it is that you listen to podcasts. Life Transformation Radio can be heard on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spreaker, Spotify, TuneIn, Player FM, Radio Public, Overcast, Castbox, the Himalaya app, the Google Play Music app, and now Pandora. So join us wherever it is that you listen to podcasts. And since you're there, go ahead and leave us a rating and a review of the show and let us know how we did. On the show, my guests are entrepreneurs, speakers, business owners, podcasters, authors, basically amazing human beings that impact the world around us. And my guest today does exactly that. This show is brought to you, or this episode is brought to you by Luminary Leaders, a speaker management and consulting firm in Southern California. So you can go to luminaryleaders.com, try them out, see what they are offering. On the show, my guest for today is a combat veteran, a United States Marine, and his name is Abiud Montes. So welcome to the show, my guest for today, Abiud. How you doing, my brother?
Hey, Sean, how you doing today?
I am always excited and honored to have a fellow veteran on the show. And so Veterans Day is coming up. So, like we always say, thank you for your service and thank you for protecting our freedom. All right, ma'am. So the title of this show is Ethical Leadership with Marine Combat Veteran Speaker Abiud Montes. He enlisted in the United States Marine Corps on September 11th, 1989. In 1990, he was deployed to Saudi Arabia and Kuwait for combat operations in Operation Desert Storm, where he served as a tow gunner with 8th Tank Battalion, an anti-tank tow company. In 1994, he was hired as a firefighter for the city of Hollywood. Utilizing his experience as a Marine and knowledge of military honor guard protocol, he was elected as an honor guard member to represent the City of Hollywood Fire Department in New York for the 9/11 memorial ceremony to honor the fallen firefighters of the New York City Fire Department. Abiud has been working for the City of Hollywood for 25 years. Currently, he holds the rank of Fire Lieutenant. In 2003, then, Montes was activated for combat in Operation Iraqi Freedom. He served as a vehicle commander for the 1st Marine Division Regimental Combat Team, 2nd Tank Battalion Scout Platoon. He was part of the main combat element to Baghdad. Master Gunnery Sergeant Montes is now retired from the Marine Corps after 30 years of faithful service after serving and participating in many global conflicts. Montes is a motivational speaker and has been speaking for over 28 years. He is a sought-out speaker and has been the Master of Ceremonies for many events throughout the U.S., including the guest of honor for several Marine Corps birthday balls. His current topics are leadership, anti-terrorism, and how to handle a bully. He is also very active in his community and in the church, and currently the president for the Navy League, Fort Lauderdale Council, and Freedom's Foundation of Valley Forge, Broward County chapter past president for the last 3 years. Montes has a Master's of Professional Studies in Executive Management from St. Thomas University. To learn more about him, to connect with him on social media, go to Abiud, A-B-I-U-D, Montes, M-O-N-T-E-S, AbiudMontes.com. Connect with him and let him know that you heard him here on Life Transformation Radio. Abiud, the first question I have to ask you, and which I believe is the most important question that you can ever ask someone, is why? So why do you do what you do?
The reason why I do what I do is it's a very good question. I think at the end of the day, going through life and the experience I've had the last 30 years in the Marine Corps or speaking, now I do it for other people. I understand that I'm number two, and the reason why I'm number two, because you're number one. And I'm in the business of service, and I think we all are, and everyone has a story. Everyone has been through something. Everyone has experienced something. What you've been through in your life may change somebody else's life. Maybe someone struggling in an area of for military purposes, suicide. There might be something that I went through that I can share with another veteran, and maybe one or two words might be like the click that they make a decision. You know what? It's more important to live than to die. It's more important to make a difference than to not be here. So now I say the reason why I have the platform that I do, and I'm very honored and humbled to travel around the country as a motivational speaker, to share just one, even if it's one nugget or one thing that I can share to make a difference, is the key thing. So the reality is not about me, but the why is it's for you. It's about making a difference in this world.
For sure. And I love that, man. I love how you put you on number one, which makes me number two. And I'm not sure about how the Marines are. I spent a lot of time in the Air Force. And it seems like in the military, there's a lot of stepping on necks to get promotion from half the crowd. And the other half is building up other leaders around them so that when they get promoted, somebody else is going to fill their spot. They understand the chain of leadership. I'm going to build up other leaders around me so that when I get promoted, they can just take my spot. They already know what to do. And I've noticed that this is prevalent in the world.
Yes.
So many people are scared to lose their job, so they don't fully train somebody who could do their job, because then why would they need me? And I've noticed that with certain leaders, they don't fully give of themselves and build leaders around them because they want job security.
Yeah, 100. I agree 100%. You know, there's a saying that says it's not important to have followers, but it's more important to create those followers to make them leaders. Because anybody can have followers, but only real leaders create those followers to become leaders. So when you step back and when you're not in that position, or say you are the leader and you have to take a vacation or you have to leave, you know that the operation will continue on without you, because you've trusted that one of the things we talk about, trust and leadership, that you can put those people and you can leave. The people that do not trust cannot take that vacation. Those are the ones that are more stressed out. Those are the ones that are, having more heart attacks, more problems, because they don't trust and they don't build those leaders. But if you build those leaders, then you can sit back and let that person continue on the process. And, one of the things I remember in the Marine Corps, my squad, I was a fire team leader and I had 3 Marines. And I got promoted to section leader. And the interesting thing enough was my 3 fire team, they all became squad leaders. And it was nice to see them take the position that I was a squad leader. Now I'm the section leader, and now they're the squad leaders. When I left as a section leader, those 3 squad leaders became first, second, and third section leader. So I'm like, that is awesome to see that they were able to take the roles that I was able to move up, and they were able to move up. And there's a difference in that. I was speaking at an event, and I said, when you walk into the office, are you excited? Are your employees excited to see you? Yes or no? And immediately out of the 30 managers there, like 7 of them put their heads down. So that told me they probably come in the office and they're not building up their employees. They're probably tearing them down. But just something to see in the importance of leadership.
Oh, 100%. I've heard it said that you either build the tallest building or you tear down all the buildings around you to become the tallest building. That's so true.
Yes.
So the whole theme of the show is about transformation, and transformation can look many different ways. So for you, what do you feel like a transformational moment was in your life that then put you on the path to what you're doing today?
In 1991, I got back from Desert Storm, and a good friend of mine, Lance Corporal Pete Sayers, calls me and says, "Hey, Ab, I want you to come on over and speak at, I think it was like St. David's School." And I'm like, "Look, I'm not a really good public speaker. I get nervous, my face jitters." He goes, "Oh, well, me too, but, they wanted someone to speak." I said, "You know what? I'm going to support you, and I'll go with you." So here we go. Desert Storm just finished, and we have a crowd of about 500 kids at this school. And big auditorium is filled to the top. And, back rows, everybody it's a full house, and everyone speaks, the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, and then I come up and I speak. And immediately after I'm done speaking, all the kids stand up and start clapping. And my buddy, Lance Corporal Pete Zayas, is next, and he looks at me, he goes, "Man," he says, "you got a gift." He goes, "You better continue this." And I'm like, at that moment, it was like, okay, so I have a story to share. And then he went up, he didn't even speak. He says, "Any questions?" And he looked back at me and smiled. I said, "Well, we talked about later." He was smart enough to understand that was such a good speech that he says, "I'm not going to talk after that. I'm just going to ask questions." But that was the moment that it sprung the speaking opportunity. And I've had the opportunity to speak at youth groups or speak at high schools, speak at Fortune 500 companies. And the concept is the same thing as always. It's about leadership. It's about building up. Even though at schools I'll do how to handle a bully, but in the workplace I still do it. I don't say handling a bully. I talk about handling a red manager, because someone that is a bully or red is negative. They're chaotic. They're yelling, cursing, disrespectful. They could be physically abusive. They could be verbally abusive. Whatever. We consider that person a bully, or we consider that person a red manager. So I've taken that aspect and talked to the manager to say, this is what a red manager is. And then I've gone to the concept of a green manager, which is a positive person. And I've taken the 14 leadership traits of the Marine Corps, and basically, real simple stuff that we learn in the military, different leadership traits, tactfulness, justice, integrity, just those basic leadership skills. And those, we say, those are people who are green. Someone smiling, happy, friendly, those are basically green. And what I do with my kids every morning is I instill in them those positive green effects. And I'll do it with you. What I say, you can say, my kids, I say, Austin and Naya, repeat after me. I'm a winner. I'm a champion. I'm a world changer. I am somebody. I'm smart. I'm intelligent. I'm bright. And every single day I speak into their lives. Now, I do this I was speaking at a conference, and I did this in front of a bunch of human resource managers. And one guy stands in the back. I don't know if you've ever been heckled while speaking, but the gentleman stood up and says, you experience these things, and thank God I know how to handle it. So he stands up and interrupts my presentation and says, "That doesn't work." And I started laughing. I said, sir, don't sit down. I want you to stand up. So I'll just say today is Tuesday, right? So I asked him a simple question. I said, "Sir, on Sunday when you woke up, did you eat breakfast, lunch, or dinner at any time?" He goes, "I sure did." "On Monday, did you do any of those things?" He goes, "Yes." He said, when you woke up today, were you hungry at any time of the day? He goes, I sure was. I said, so I guess what you did on Sunday and Monday didn't work because you're still hungry. And when I told him that, he smiled, and it clicked. And that's what it's about. It's about building up each other every single day. You have to build yourself every day because what you did yesterday is gone. Today is new day. One of the things we say is brand new is who you are. You woke up this morning, it's a brand new day. So whatever happened in the past, it's gone. Thank God, right? Thank God the past is gone. The enemy will bring back your past. The enemy always wants to bring back what you failed on, what you did wrong. But today we live for today, and then we plan for the future. That's the concept. Plan for the future, live for today, and forget about your past. Or make your past your preaching, what I tell people. But I've taken that concept of how to handle a bully with the red and green, and I share different stories because people will remember a story. They're not going to remember numbers or statistics or stuff. You share a story, they'll remember. And can I share a quick story with you?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do it.
Sure. So this is I'm in the playground one day with my daughter, and we're running around, and it's green environment. Everyone's laughing. It's a great environment. Everything is great. And one second to the next, there's a Hispanic girl and an African American. They get into a verbal argument, and they start cursing at each other. They become red. So the African American looks at the Hispanic. She calls it a word. Starts with a W. It rhymes with score. And when she says this, immediately the Hispanic girl got very, very red, upset, and yelled right back at her. She used another red word. We're going to say it's the N word, right? It rhymes with trigger. And when she said that, the African American girl got even angrier. See, that red environment, it's almost like a virus. If I'm sick, if I'm red, and I start coughing, and you walk in the room, I say, hey, don't come in. I don't want to get you sick. And you say, hey, Ab, it's okay. I have the antibodies. I have the flu shot. You see, by being green, that's your antibody. But if someone speaks into your life and it's negative, and it hears your eardrums, and you go back and you spit back negative, they just infected you. So that red environment became red on both sides. So when she said that to the other girl, I immediately went over to break up the fight because I knew it was going to be a fight. As we grow old, we say, oh, look, there's going to be a fight. In high school, I'm sure you remember, the people are arguing back. So I split the girls up, and I said, hey, girls, we don't curse at the park. We don't do it at the house. And the girl, African-American girl, looks at me, and she swings her arm down at me because I kind of grab her arm to separate them. She kind of swings off. And she goes, you don't know what she said to me. I was right there. I heard the whole thing. And I said, well, what'd she say? Now she said that same N-word 10 times louder. She called me and she said the word. And it immediately attracted the red virus in the playground from the green environment, positive, to a negative. And I asked her a quick question. When she said that to you, did you control yourself and your emotions, or did she control you? And almost like a light bulb hit her, and she says, oh, my God, she controlled me. I said, exactly. She controlled you by her words. I said, let me ask you another question. Do you know what the N-word means? She goes, yeah. I said, are you that? And she thought for a second, and she looked and said, no, I'm not. I said, if that's not who you are, then why did you react? See, the reason why is because people react. When someone says something about you and you get mad and you get angry, that means you're believing what they're saying to you. You have to remember this. It's not what other people say. You have to know who you are. If you know who you are, it doesn't matter what anybody says around you because you know who you are. I am a winner. I am a champion. I am somebody. If I get mad every time someone calls me a name and I believe that, then basically, how do you handle a bully? You handle a bully by knowing what? By knowing who you are. It starts with you. Everything in life begins with you. And when people understand that concept, why did this happen today? Oh, because of me. Why did this happen? What was the decision here? It happened because of me. I either accepted what they said to me. If it's positive, yes, you accept it. Thank you. Hey, you look real sharp in that suit, Ab. Hey, that preaching that you did last week was awesome. Thank you. They give you green, you give them green back. They say something negative and call you something. You get angry. They just got you red. They infected you. In turn, you don't know who you are. So it starts with you. And that's the key thing. Knowing who you are, as soon as you do that, you can handle the bully. And that's the key thing. Most kids that are bullied don't know who they are. And I do active shooter training, and when you think about what happened at Stoneman Douglas, 10 miles down the street from my house, this kid was bullied his entire life, and then he flipped the tables. I don't agree what he did, but at the same time, if we could start at the schools, and we could start at the workplace, and we start teaching how to handle bullies, we can eliminate a lot of this other stuff that is happening in this world. So that's why when I do speak at schools, it's important. That's the first thing I talk about. When I speak at the office, I was speaking at an office once, and in the middle, I always tell rebuke in private and promote in public, just like we do in the military.
Yep.
One of the managers pointed out, one of the managers right in the middle pointed out, said, "That manager so-and-so is red." I'm like, "Oh, no, don't do that. Don't do that in front here." So I had to kind of bring her later back and coach her. Say, "Hey, look, let me explain something to you. That when you see something, I'm speaking, he's a manager, you're a manager. All your peers around certain things, you have to do it in the, talk." Because I was speaking in Baltimore, Maryland, and one person told me, "Oh, my God, I'm red. I'm the one. No wonder everybody hates me." And the thing is, you can fix it. You see, a flower, just because it's dead, you don't throw it away. You change the environment. I read that somewhere on the internet. You change the environment, and the flower will grow. So we just got to change. We can't just fire everybody because they're having a bad day. Oh, they're fired. They're fired. You won't have a company. And that's the thing when you're speaking to human resource directors. We can't just fire everybody the second. The first thing is train. We have to train. And you were in the military. I was in the military. The biggest thing is what? Training, training, training. First 3 T's, right? We say the 3 T's. The first thing is what? We train. The next thing you do what? Is you transfer. And then the final thing, at the very end, you want to terminate. But you don't want to terminate right off the bat. Did you ever give the person a chance? Did you train them? Did you explain to them? Did you talk to them? Did you build them up? Did you make them a green leader, or did you always yell at them and make them a red leader? Did you make their environment uncomfortable? Did you make them hate their job? I don't want to come to work because that manager is red. And there's so many red managers out there because they don't have the training. So the key thing is we have to train our leaders, our managers, the people in position of leadership, so they can be successful. That's the thing. You want people to be successful. I want people to be successful because if they're successful, they're happy. And if you're happy, then it's a good day. And that's one of the key things that I'd like to share when I travel and talk to different people. Hopefully, something I said, you can hold that concept as well.
Oh, for sure, 100%. And I fully agree with you when you're talking about the praise in public and reprimand in private. Man.
Yep.
So many times, even in the Air Force, you walk out into a hangar and somebody's got a dispute. I'm like, did you need to take that outside or take it to the office or something? Like, you need to be displaying that crap over here. He's like, you man, and just starts yelling at him. Different when that's the environment. When I was a drill instructor, there was no such thing as praising in public. It was the opposite. Like you praise your airmen or your trainees, in your dorm because it's basic training. Like they're not getting praised for anything. They suck at everything.
Yeah.
And you want to destroy them in public, And I would stop my flight. I'm like, look over there. Look at that flight getting destroyed. See that? That's what you look like when you're getting destroyed. That's what it looks like when we're annihilating your soul on this drill pad. When you suck at marching, that's what you guys look like. And they're all like, "Oh man," I said, "Do you want to look like that, or do you want to look like you know what you're doing? Do you want to put on a show for people, or do you want to be the show for people?"
Exactly.
I always tell them, you're either gonna be the show, or you're gonna put on the show. And I'd much rather put on the show, right, and do well than be the show. I'm good. So, but it goes back again to you build up other leaders around you. And you do this in a way that promotes respect for the relationship. I loved it a while ago where you talked about, I'm at home and we're smiling. And I go, that's awesome because I've never known a Marine to smile. So it's great. However, in all seriousness, I love the fact that what's being promoted, because each of us has a culture. You know, the Air Force's deployments are to the 5-star hotels, and the Marines are the killers, and the Army guys are these people, and the Navy guys do what they do. And like, we all have these, you know, these monikers, and, you know, Marines like to eat crayons.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, it's like we're brothers, right? I mean, like, it's okay for me and you to go back and forth, but if somebody else does, like a civilian does, you're like, whoa, hold on a second now. Like, that's my brother in arms. Like, you and I share a common bond with core values, service, and excellence, and we provided something to our country. We serve based on our morals and values. What I've noticed is that I've spoken about leadership into different companies, and I go into corporations, and I was talking to a steel company, and there was all the leaders from all of the plants and all the places, distributions, and all that stuff.
Sean, you there? Sean, I think I lost you. There you go. Sean, you there? Sean.
Hey, Abiud, are you with us?
I'm here. How you doing, man?
And, Matt, dude, you would not believe what happened. So I don't know if there's a storm or what, but there was a super bright light that like flashed, and then my whole house lights flickered and everything shut off. Like, oh my God, we just had a power out, and then came back on, and then everything's working again. I'm like,
it's the end of the world as we know it, right?
Dude, I don't know if it's a transformer that blew. Like, I'm not even. This thing was like, it lit up the whole house. I mean, it was like flash, like big white flash. It was crazy. Okay, so anyway, what I was talking about was like leadership. So so talking to the steel plant and talking to these other places, talking to leaders and CEOs, and these upper management guys, and I really wanted to tell them. I said, listen, man, I was like, leaders build up other leaders. That's your job, whatever. And I went into like leadership in the military and kind of how it goes. And one of the guys was like, well, they need to know who's been there the longest, seniority and like, all that. And they started bringing that stuff up. I said, yeah, I get it. Like, you've been here a while, but I mean, I would think that leadership is about effective leadership or ethical leadership, not just based on how long you've been there. Because if that's the case, then we can make the argument that there should be term limits for Congress and Senate. However, we should always remember that it's not about us. It's about who we serve. The end. It's about who we serve.
I think a lot of the politicians have forgotten that. It seems like they've been able to take care of themselves, and they forget about the people. And how do you get in that spot and forget the people? I think you need somebody to have you accountable. One of the things I talk about when you get coached, as a coach, you have to have someone keep you accountable. And it's like a mentor and a mentee. When I was in the Marines, I always looked up the next rank, and I always try to get a mentor. And then at the same time, I would talk to the lower ranks and be their their mentor. And then I had a mentee. But in the position of leadership, you always have to have someone there. Even coaching yourself. Being there and saying, "Hey, I noticed you're struggling here, or you're doing this," and you got to be able to have those people around to help you, because you can get in those positions and you can forget about it. You can forget about that and lose it. But I do want to touch about one subject that it's been real on my heart, and I've been traveling around and speaking on it. It's just one of my chapters in the book I just wrote. Well, I'm writing. Let me say I'm writing, but I wanted to share with you because I know you can relate to this as being in the military. But I think anybody, just not military people. But one of the things I wrote in my last chapter it's called HVT. So and I know an HVT is a high-value target. So for civilians that don't know what that is, what al-Baghdadi, we just obviously captured him. Osama bin Laden is a high-value target. But as I was studying the word high-value target and the importance of taking out the top guy, is because we can cripple the organization and destroy it completely. So as I was meditating on that, the Lord gave me an idea and says, "Ab, you're a high-value target." And I was like, "I am?"
Ooh.
And Sean, you're a high-value target. And the reason why we are high-value targets is every single time in your mind that a thought of suicide comes in your mind, that means the enemy thinks so highly of you and so credible of you that he wants to take you out so bad that he's bringing those thoughts of suicide in your mind. Every second that he brings that thought. Now, in the past, as being in the military and what I've been through in combat, 2 combat tours, and suffering many nights of nightmares and just, going through situations that many people that I've seen in the military go to the bottle, go to the bar, go to drugs, go to eventually, ultimately, 22 suicides a day. We're getting a big influx now of Vietnam veterans that are just killing themselves. But the fact that that thought comes in your mind, you're a high-value target. That means the enemy believes in you. If the enemy believes in you that you're so valuable, how much more should you, Sean, how much more should I believe in myself? And that's
a great point.
It's the key thing. It is. You've been through some tough times, Sean. You've gone through some situations. There's been times that in your mind, you said, "That's it. Today's the day. I'm ending it today." The thought came
That was
in your
me
mind.
in 2008. That was me. I actually put the gun in my mouth in 2008.
So there you go.
Because I was in a combat unit.
You're here today.
I was in a combat unit. It was just, it was just tough, man. The things that we did, it was just tough. And it wasn't like I could handle it. It was just, I don't know. I feel like it was a combination of things. If I really reflect back, I feel it was a combination of people that I had served with that are no longer here.
Yeah.
There were situations that I saw, especially with children, And you do enough convoy duty, you learn that it's just, I don't know, it's part of war or whatever. But we were told not to feed the children anymore. And one of my worst memories is them attaching vests to children because they would come up and we would give them MREs. So then they told us don't do that anymore because they're strapping vests to the children. Like, how could you do that? Like, how could you? And you and I have seen the worst of the worst people in the world do some of the worst acts in the world. And it just kind of it wasn't like I could handle it. It's just I had so many questions. Like, how could someone do this to a child? How could it be no different if somebody's daughter was raped? It's like, how could someone do this? You know? So just I don't know. I don't know if I think it was more of a mindset. You know, I couldn't live with the things that maybe I had done. You know, I mean, you're in the killing people in the military. You're in the business of protecting freedom, and you protect freedom at all costs. So I don't know, man. It's a whole mindset, you know, that you have. It's like you have to live with the visions that you've seen, and for some people they just don't want to. They can't get them out of their head, and they live in that moment of time.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, and the enemy will bring back your thoughts, your dreams, and tell you you're crazy and you're losing it. But that's when you have to take control of your mind. And, you know, the word says renew your mind daily. Why is it important? You have to, same thing. Why do you have to renew it daily? Because the enemy will attack you to try to take you out. But you have to be able to read the word and say, you know what? These are the things that the promises that it says. These are the ways that, you know, my steps are ordered. You know, everything that I do, you know, I have to understand that it's if I give it to God and follow, you know, I'll make it. You know, I will make it the next day. And you know, that high value target thing. Now, if the thought of suicide comes in my mind, I get excited now because I say, yeah, the enemy believes I'm going to make it. So you know what? I have to start believing. And sometimes it's a lot of it. The struggle is in within ourselves. It's within you, Sean. I mean, think about it. If you would have did what you did, we wouldn't be on the radio today reaching over 70 countries, over millions of people. Something that is said today might change somebody's life. And if you would have did what you did and I would have did what I was going to think of doing, we wouldn't be here today. So the fact is that the enemy was thinking, these guys are going to make some changes in this world. They're going to change some people's lives. They're going to be so radical, and they're going to make such a thing. I got to take them out now. But look what you have. You have your podcast, you're speaking, but this is just the beginning. I know you're excited about your show, and I'm excited to be on your show. But there's so much more for you, Sean. This is just the tip of the iceberg, and we don't even know how much more we have coming. And I think God would just show us a glimpse, a little bit at a time, and we get excited. You know, I had an amazing dream the other day. And I got up out of bed and I got excited. And then my phone starts ringing, and I got booked for 3 more bookings. And I was like, oh, my God, that's my dream coming to pass. You know, the opportunity of speaking, you know, over here or there. Green Bay, Wisconsin in February 29th. Oh, 30 below zero. I'm not excited about the weather, but I'm excited the fact that I'll be speaking. You know what I mean? But,
right. Oh, man. That's awesome.
That's what it's about, you know. You're changing lives, Sean.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. So let's talk about that. As we start to close the show, we got a couple minutes left. How do you elevate the world around you?
You know, like we said at the beginning, Sean, I just share my story. And I believe people want to – I've seen speakers, and we listen to all speakers. I mean, I listen to everybody, good, bad, indifferent. I want to learn. I want to listen. And sometimes what I've learned, and as I coach people, I tell your story, because my story will change or relate to what you've been through, and it will change your life. And like we said, I'm always have to remember that I'm number 2 because you're number 1. I'm here for you. And if we all have that same concept of being, you know, helping each other and moving each other and helping one another build each other up, man, how much greater will we be as a nation? as a country, as we can start at the lowest level as a neighborhood, a community, a county, a state, the nation, and the country, and so on and so forth. How much greater will we be if we're all doing greatness? And that's the key. That truly is the key. And you said one is the why. I didn't start out like this. This is something. This is over time of experience and seeing what you said about the military. There's people that step on you, and there's people that give you that hand to help you get up. There's two. And after seeing that, I said, I don't want to be the guy stepping on the other guy. I want to be the one.
Yeah.
I want to be the one helping and building, because to me, it's better to help somebody. It's better to visit someone in jail than to be in jail. It's better to feed the homeless than be homeless. It's
right.
better to clothe somebody than needing clothes. It's always better to give than to receive, and that's a true statement, 100%. It is truly a blessing to give, and to see somebody smile when you do something you do it because you love, not because you're trying to get something, but when you do it from your heart, and their reaction of a smile, man, that's all. I don't need no tip or anything.
Yep.
Look at that smile.
Love it.
Look at that person, and that's the key thing.
I love it. Hey, man, thank you for coming on the show. This has been absolutely amazing and incredible. Honored to get your story out more and, just learn more about the brilliance of life after the military, because most people don't have a life after the military. So this is absolutely phenomenal. Loved every second of it. I think you're doing amazing and great work, and just keep it up, man.
Thank you, Sean. I really appreciate you and giving me the opportunity to be on your show. It is truly an honor, and hopefully we can speak again. Don't lose my number, and if you're ever in Florida, let's get together and break some bread together.
Heck yeah, man. Heck yeah. If somebody wants to book you for their event, where should they go, and how should they go about booking you?
They can email me directly to speaker.montes@gmail.com. Once again, that's speaker.montes, MONTES, @gmail.com. They can go to my website. It's a little bit, that's my real name. Abiud is Hebrew. It's kind of hard to pronounce, but it's ABIUD. My last name, Montes, MONTES.com. And they can get a hold of me there. And I work with every group, every organization. I'm speaking on Wednesday the 13th at a dentist office. We're doing situational awareness to include, you can say active intruder or active shooter, whatever way you want to say, but we're doing the dentist office. Rabbi Lip Sync, I'm going to be doing the temple, and I got a couple of churches coming up, a couple schools. Schools have their own little thing, but I volunteer and do the teachers anyway, because it's important that we share the knowledge. You have knowledge, I have knowledge, and we got to share that information, because if it makes a difference, then it's important. It's a good thing.
Absolutely. Again, thank you so much for coming on the show. This has been absolutely amazing, and I wish you the best.
Thank you, Sean. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Life Transformation Radio listeners, an amazing guest impacting the world around him. If anything that he has said has resonated with you, please connect with him. You can go to Abiud Montes, ABIUD MONTES, AbiudMontes.com. It's right there in the show note. Click on the link. Get a hold of him, message him, let him know that you heard him here on Life Transformation Radio. As we close the show, I always say, live your brand. Find opportunities every day to live your values that you hold deep in your heart. I call this living your brand. So until next episode, live a great life.